Much was made about the Prime Minister's emotional state when he announced this thing. Today, news.com.au reported Anthony Albanese had tears in his eyes as he revealed the wording of the referendum question and proposed constitutional amendments in an emotional press conference. The Prime Minister made an impassioned plea to Australians to support the voice. Well, so there's no bias in the government then. The ABC pondered the intensity of the announcement. Under a headline that would be familiar to readers of trashy women's magazines, "Why is it such an emotional day?" it reproduced a couple of zingers from the Prime Minister. "It's a big deal," he said. "It's about justice. I feel, as the Prime Minister, an incredible responsibility to make a difference." Then he said the quiet bit out loud. "There's a whole lot of things we do in this place that no one will remember in a year's time or a day's time. This matters." Whoa! The Prime Minister and all our federal MPs do stuff that they forget the next day? How much are we paying these people? A more accurate answer to the ABC headline writer's question, "Why is it so emotional?" is, well, duh, it's emotional because this is an emotional proposal. The whole Indigenous Voice to Parliament is short on detail and long on warm, fuzzy feelings that, contrary to what the Prime Minister says, deliver absolutely zero in terms of justice or making a difference. If Albo wanted to get emotional about Indigenous welfare, he had a chance to do so when he visited Alice Springs in January. He might have popped into the type of homes where fathers are either drunk or absent in jail, where life expectancy is lower and suicide rates higher, where alcohol abuse is rife, and where truancy leads tragically to a life of delinquency, unemployment, and meaninglessness. Plenty to get emotional about there, Albo. Instead, he held a couple of hastily convened meetings in pleasant offices and pledged an extra $250 million in funding before scuttling back to Melbourne to spend 2 days at the Australian Open tennis tournament. Then again, maybe Albo got emotional at the announcement today because he was lonely. Attorney General Mark Dreyfus was there, but where were his other parliamentary colleagues? Have they sensed that the Voice to Parliament will fail and are waiting in the wings to offer a fresh start when Australia's rejection of it taints his Prime Ministership? If so, it would be yet another example of politics utterly contaminating the goodwill of the Australian people to help their Indigenous brothers and sisters. The main reason we are in this predicament is the Bringing Them Home report 25 years ago created the fiction that white people removing Indigenous kids from their families in the 19th and early 20th centuries were guilty of genocide. They were not. They were providing disadvantaged children the opportunity of a better life, an opportunity not being offered to kids who desperately need it today. We happily allow disadvantaged white kids to be removed to better foster homes, but condemn Indigenous kids to the hellish households they were unfortunate enough to be born into. If that's not racist, nothing is.